Hello. Today is Wednesday, June the 24th. In our study that I'm leading our church through the book of Acts, in our study now, we're in the 21st and 22nd chapter of Acts. It's following the Apostle Paul's third missionary journey, where he's back in Jerusalem. The crowd has attacked him, trying to kill him. It's really sad. They just about have him dead. The Roman commander brings his troops through, probably 200 or 300 men, and they rescue him from the mob. The commander actually thinks that Paul is an Egyptian renegade, but when Paul speaks to him in his own language, he's shocked. And then Paul asks permission to talk to the crowd, and the commander gives him permission. Paul speaks to them in Aramaic, and he tells them about becoming a follower of Christ. He gives them his testimony, which is so good for me to read what Paul thought was important to tell about his becoming a follower, a believer in Jesus. That's one of those things I think each of us can learn from in Acts 21 and 22, where we read what Paul thought was important about his particular coming to belief in Jesus. But at the end of it, Paul tells them of a special time when Jesus came to him in Jerusalem years ago and told him what his purpose in life would be. He says in Acts 22 verse 21 that the Lord said to me, "Go, I will send you far away to the Gentiles." And what's interesting to me about this is that this crowd that had been trying to kill him got very quiet as he gave his testimony about coming to be a believer. But when he gets to this point and tells them that Jesus told him to go and tell the good news to the Gentiles, they start screaming and they decide to kill him. It's an indication of a situation that I personally find that we're going through today. It is us versus them. And them is anybody that's not like us. I remember from my childhood, I knew that my race was better than another race. I knew that people of the other race, the thems, I had them so stereotyped. I knew exactly what they were all like. And I look back on that with tremendous sadness. I didn't see it as arrogance at the time, but that's all it was, racial arrogance. I'll never forget hearing a preacher from Southern California, Erwin McManus, as he talked to a group of us. Erwin has a mixed racial background. A suburban church near LA asked him to come and talk to their church because they weren't growing like the church that Erwin pastored was, and they wanted his help. And so they sat down at a table with Erwin, and he says, "So are you wanting to know how to become a church that is mixed racially?" And they were like, "Yes," and they were so anxious. And he said, "Make friends with people of different races." They were quite disappointed in what he told them. They were looking for a program. But as we've discovered here in Cresswell, programs don't make people feel connected. Because even when you help people, if you're not careful, you still cause them to feel less than. You still have the opportunity to look down your nose and say, because of what I have, I will give to you that doesn't have. And the whole time we have this problem that plagues us that says, I'm better than you. I want to encourage you to look inside, to look at your own feelings. It's so easy to blame the rioters. It is so difficult to look at the motivation. It's so easy to see what we have going, and it's so hard to see the effect that our lives can have on others that are not as fortunate as we are. I'm going to talk about this more this coming Sunday, but we are truly blessed to be able to be of help to our community. And I hope that in our efforts to help, we do not demean or belittle a person of another race. I'll talk to you more later. Thank you.